Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I wanted to talk about another secret archetype in Remnant 2, the Invader. This one is a ton of fun to play if you like shadow-based gameplay. However, it is rather convoluted to obtain, so I wanted to go over all of that as well as the perks, skills, and traits of this archetype because it is very, very good. Now, jumping right in, you're going to need to access the Morrow Parish Sanatorium area in Losum. If you don't have that available in your playthrough, you can access it through the adventure mode, so keep that in mind. And proceeding on, you're going to ultimately try to get the Dreamcatcher weapon. Now, in order to do so, you're going to need to collect 3 stone-carved dolls. I don't have gameplay footage of this, but they're pretty easy to obtain. One's going to be on the main floor. Another one's going to be down around outside. We're going to have to beat an enemy to get the 3rd floor key. And then once you go up to the 3rd floor, that's where you're going to find the final of the stone-carved dolls. You're also going to need to find a prison cell key. This is going to unlock the prison cell down below in the basement. Give her the 3 stone-carved dolls as well, and then open the door. You're going to then get the Nightweaver statue. From there, you're going to continue through the story and either defeat Magister Dullen or also make your way through the area that the Red Prince is in. Either way, you're going to find the Soul Key tribute. From there, you're going to go back to the Morrow Parish Sanatorium basement and use the Soul Key tribute on a bunch of cobwebs in order to access the Tormented Asylum. From there, you're going to use the Nightweaver statue on the cobweb inside the first cell to the left to get the Dreamcatcher. That is all you can do until you get to the Root Earth, which is the final area of the game. Once there, you're going to proceed through and you're going to find essentially inside of a ship area. You're going to look on the right hand side and there are going to be stairs down. From there, you're going to proceed on down through the cargo docks and then head through a side passage in the room that locks you against waves of enemies. Once you defeat all those enemies, that's when you're going to go down the stairs on the right hand side, and that's going to be lead you to a little area that's going to have a pod creature that is going to have the escalation protocol item. You're going to fight more waves of enemies, and then you can use the Dreamcatcher to get the Walker's Dream consumable item. Then you're going to have to use the Walker's Dream, and that's going to take you to another area where you're going to fight a boss named Bane, defeat the boss, and once you do that, you're going to get the wooden shiv, take the wooden shiv to Wallace, and he is going to actually give you the Invader Archetype. Yes, it's very confusing. Yes, there's a lot going on there, but it's not all that bad as long as you proceed through that one sanatorium area and also proceed through the Losum campaign area, and then finally you're going to get to the Root Earth. You're going to not have that difficult a time obtaining this, but if you don't know where to look, it can be a bit tricky, and you're going to want to follow all these steps in order to get this archetype. Anyway, jumping into the actual gameplay of this archetype, it is a ton of fun, and it's based around shadows. So its prime perk is called Shadow. Casting an invader skill leaves a decoy for 3 seconds, which draws enemy fire, deals 5% additional damage to enemies not targeting the invader. That extra damage is nice, especially when you do have a decoy. You can combine this with something like the Handler class archetype to have another enemy or another decoy essentially that can taunt enemies, and again, when they are not targeting you, you are actually going to be doing additional damage. So either way you want to do that, that is very nice. It does help out quite a bit. You have the 3 skills available. One is Void Cloak. Automatically perfect dodge incoming direct damage for 60 seconds. Each auto evade reduces timer by 33 to 100% based on damage absorbed and spawns a decoy for 3 seconds. So you're going to see in some of the gameplay that I have, essentially, that an enemy that I'm not aware of is going to attack me. I'm going to automatically perfect dodge. I don't have to press the dodge button or anything. And I'm going to auto evade, and it's going to leave a decoy. So that's very, very nice. It's something, if you're not good at dodging, if that's not one of your specialties, this is going to come in handy quite a bit. So keep that in mind. It's a very good skill. It's probably one of the better first slot skills that you have in the game. Then you've got Wormhole, warps the caster forward through spacetime. The next melee or range attack within 5 seconds will deal 300% damage. Holding the skill button will show the targeting device. If an enemy is directly targeted, the caster will emerge behind them. So this is very nice if you want to, again, play a stealth and movement-based build. You can lunge around the area, use this wormhole in order to do a bunch more damage, and it is a ton of fun to play once you have that mastered. It can be a little difficult to get your location right when you're using the skill, but trust me, it is very, very nice, and you're going to want to check this out for sure. Then finally, we have Reboot. Initiates a data backup of the caster's current health, stamina, relic charges, ammo, and negative status effects, which are stored for 30 seconds. While the backup is active, increased movement speed by 15% and damage reduction by 10%. Reactivating the skill restores all save values from the backup and spawns a decoy, which lasts 3 seconds. This is tremendous if you can time it right. You can actually use this and then when you're at full health, and then reset yourself after 10-15 seconds after you've been taking some damage. So it can be very nice if you use this correctly, and it's one of the better skills in the game all around, in my personal opinion, as you are learning how to use this in harder difficulty content where you're taking a bunch of damage. Keep in mind though, if you get downed, it doesn't continue on past that 30 seconds. So you're going to have to be careful to use this by reactivating the skill once you are low health or taking damage or have some negative status effects stacked upon you. So then we get to the damage perks. We got Shark. Sprinting for 1 second or evading adds 1 stack of momentum, which increases range and melee damage by 0.7% for 15 seconds, max of 5 stacks. This is nice, and it increases with Invader level. Then we have Loophole, and all ally range and melee damage against enemies distracted by your decoy grants 5% base damage as lifesteal. That's huge for team-based action. When you're using your ability and giving your team's lifesteal, it comes in handy quite a bit. And then finally, we've got Circumvent, utility perk, reduce the cost of evade and combat slide by 10%. This is very nice as you are dodging more often and using combat slide. Then finally, we have Override, which is a relic perk. Using a relic reduces threat generation by 25% for 10 seconds. While Override is active, the next evade leaves an empowered decoy, which lasts 4 seconds. Again, decoys everywhere. It's very nice, and if you can learn to master this archetype, it can be one of the best in the game. If you are struggling to stay alive, struggling with dodges, you just want additional ways to have those decoys to really do a bunch of damage to like bosses, for example, without being attacked from all angles. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Finally, the archetype trait increases evade window by 3%, and that is going to stack. So at max trait level, it's going to be 30% invulnerability window increase. So that is absolutely massive, and something that a lot of people who like dodging but maybe not as perfect at it as some others will find very, very handy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this is a longer one in explaining how to get it, so I didn't really go into the build options, but I'm going to do that in another video if people want me to kind of touch on how to make a really good build with the Invader. But anyway, my name is JoPa. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more Remnant 2 content. I've been absolutely loving the game, and I've been going over all of the different archetypes, so definitely check those out if you missed any of those other videos. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.